Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Smash Dispatch. That's right, we're here. We got a new setup.
Sir.
You can finally see us now. It's kind of cool because
I've had this webcam like for years, but I barely use it. I've barely used
Right,
it, so I'm glad I
Jesus.
get to put it to use.
Yeah, I'm fucking I just took a shower, so my hair is all fucky. Obviously everybody knows what I look like. Yeah, but for a lot of people, this is probably like them seeing you for the first time. Not that many people know what you look like.
Yeah, no, I've put out a very seldom videos that have me physically in them, but I generally don't use my webcam, but you know, I'm getting used to it. I'm gonna, you know, try and probably use it more this year for various stuff. So.
Yeah, I figured this would be more fun for this show because like basically people get to see us. There's more with more and more like digital shows people are watching it. I guess it's more like not enticing, but it's like more interesting to look at people talking, expressing themselves as opposed to just having footage in the background. Especially because like our show isn't on podcast services; it's just the YouTube show. So like I figured like it would be more like fun for people watching it to actually have something to look at here. So
right, yeah, for sure.
It's good stuff. I'm excited. It's gonna create some new fun stuff, and obviously I'm gonna adjust this thing as we go along and do this more. Like for example, I feel like I gotta like up the size of these. It's fine. So I'll figure these out next time. Anyways, guys, so welcome to the Smash Dispatch. For those of you that don't know, this is our weekly, bi-weekly Smash podcast where usually we talk about the latest Smash news or whatever, and then when there's no Smash news, we just come up with random topics about Smash to talk about because there's 10 million things about Smash Bros that we are able to talk about. So first of all, Ultima, how you been? How's everything been going on lately?
Man, past few days, dude, insanely hype, bro.
Fun,
like,
right?
We got Pilgrim today.
Yes, sir.
The Bowser, the Fury Bowser stuff's been like crazy, and I'm a big fan of Bowser, so that trailer was like they really pushed like kaiju
crazy
Bowser, you know? Dude,
like it's crazy like to tie it to Smash of like I didn't think Nintendo could outdo Giga Bowser as a crazy looking Bowser, and they did.
Yeah, or like even like dry Bowser was sick. Even like, and you know how Bowser gets like huge in the Galaxy games, like he's like super massive in those games. So this is like, damn, he's like even like more powerful here.
Yeah, he's crazy. Like kaiju god level. It's so cool, man.
Like low key, like you know, they updated Cloud's final Smash, so they had the other Omni Slash. They should just give Bowser the Fury Bowser final
give him
Smash,
Fury
dude,
Bowser.
please.
Please, bro, give it to me. That's all I want. Cause it just looks so. Yeah, like you said, like it's been a fun few days. We got also a Pokemon Snap trailer today, so a lot of good shit.
Oh yeah, that too, dude. Like
going on.
Wild. There's been Nintendo's been on a real ball recently. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do for the rest of the year.
And we had like the Monster and Arise demo. Yeah, it's been a really fun like start of the year so far. And obviously this is a Smash show, so we're gonna talk about Smash. I figured a fun topic we should do that, you know, I feel like it's a topic that no one really gets to talk about that much because no one kind of wants to talk about it, which is characters we don't think will ever get into Smash, right? It's yeah, like to talk about characters basically that like we want in the game, and obviously with Smash, never say never, but it's just characters that we think most likely will not get in the game. You know what I mean?
At least this time around are not going to make it on the rest of the characters. Right? And it's important to delineate that this is our speculation based on like logic and logic and just patterns and stuff that we've picked up on. Obviously, like we said, Sakurai is the most unpredictable man in the industry. You don't know what he'll pull out or what rules he's going to break, or if there are any rules, you know, besides like from a video game. But yeah, this is just like going off of our intuition, like just sort of what we feel makes sense. This isn't like our like, oh, we don't want these characters. It's not what it is. It's like what we think won't happen.
Likely won't happen.
Because personally, like honestly, at this point, like I am not somebody who would ever be like, I don't want a character in Smash. I don't care who's in Smash as long as they're from a video game, because, you know, they can play super fun. They can play super unique. You know, it's always fun to see what they can do. But this is what we think is least likely to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, yeah, that's I think it's a fun topic. And yeah, you spoke about that about like a video game character. I mean, I'd kick this off with the one that's never gonna happen, that everyone would want to happen, it's never going to happen. I'm gonna get this out of the way, is Goku, right? Goku is
Of course.
He's the one, right? He's the character where, like, if you're talking about a character, it's not gonna get in the game, but everyone like I think like, it's like would literally like. I think if Minecraft Steve broke Twitter for 15 minutes, Goku would break it for at least half an hour. Like a solid 30-40 minutes of broken Twitter. And it's like you just know his moves. You know, like down B is just charging his key. Like at different percentages, he has access to different Saiyan forms.
I legitimately like I don't know if you've played Super Smash Flash, but Goku is Goku's actually pretty cool in that game.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I think what Goku could do in that game is pretty sick, and like if it was implemented into an actual Smash game, like that'd be pretty cool. But again, like I think the number one rule of Smash is always just from a video game. Like it doesn't matter how prolific they are in like terms of games, because you know there's tons of Dragon Ball games, but like he did not originate from a game, so it's not gonna happen. That's what I think.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's never gonna happen. Exactly, and that's why I just want to throw it out there and get it out of the way first, because it's the easy pick. What do you got for us? What's a character you think you'd want?
Well, sort of what spurred this topic was any more characters from Square, because we sort of thought about like, well, Sephiroth sort of felt like a last hurrah for Square content. We know that it's very hard to work with Square in terms of getting the licenses and pulling the songs and the characters. Like we know that's difficult for them, right? And I feel like Sephiroth was sort of their last push of like, we want to at least fix the Final Fantasy content to some extent, and that's the most they could do. Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know, I feel like it'd be so unlikely that we would get like a 2B or a Chrono or a Sora, like especially Sora, because not to say that like, you know, Disney would never let it happen, but there have been some insiders who have said that like there's been talks with Disney Japan and they always fell through, or they felt like not having the Disney wouldn't fit Kingdom Hearts representation, because that's such an important part of Kingdom Hearts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'd have to like with Sora. It's a difficult thing because like you have the double-edged sword, right? Of yes, you could have it so that it's just Kingdom Hearts specific things, you know, whether it's like just sort like what's it called, Keyblades, and you have like Riku stuff, and like you the town is like one of the towns from Kingdom Hearts. You can keep it exclusive Kingdom Hearts stuff, but at the same time, we know how Sakurai likes to be super nerdy about what's in, right? Like he likes to represent it correctly and do it right. So I think in that regard, it's that thing of, are they gonna jump through all the hoops? I mean, like Sakurai was telling us about how much of a bitch it is to get copyrighted music, so I can't imagine how many hoops it is to get like. And again, I think there is like, okay, I think there is a limit with Smash where like, even I would be a little off put if I saw Mickey Mouse in Smash Bros. Like it would be a little weird to me.
Yeah, you know, in that sense. That would be the sort of gray area where it's like it's a video game specific interpretation of a character, right? Like it's not like, you know, like to go back on Goku, right? Like Goku in all his games, he's just Goku, but in Kingdom Hearts, like Mickey Mouse is like the King Mickey, and he's like a very specific type. So like it's sort of that really, really gray area where like, yeah, it would work, but at that point when it's sort of the hoops you'd have to go through to get that to happen, you know, is probably difficult and not worth it to them to put Sora in. In that regard.
What's that? Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say, turn your camera off and on, because it's like doing like a weird like green flash thing for a second. I was just gonna say,
like around the edges, or
no, like it just like sometimes it'll like flash green randomly. So maybe just turn it off and on, just see what happens.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, you're seeing live testing. Yeah, it's the first time we gotta.
Is there a way I can reset the camera?
Just like,
you know, the call, I mean. Okay, hold on.
No, exactly. Yeah, turn off camera and then turn on. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, here we go.
There we go. No, I was gonna say, Sora is definitely the one that, like, again, he definitely has a chance. I think I don't think he's getting in this pass, sadly. I think Sephiroth is your Square rep. But yeah, that is the one character where, again, like, you do, because I mean, like, Sakurai isn't wrong when it's like, if he wants to keep it video game specific, Mickey Mouse is not a video game character. So I don't think he could fairly represent. I don't know. It's a weird thing. And I think that's why Sora is a difficult thing.
There's two sides of that, because there's a game called World of Final Fantasy. Where sort of the main draw is like, oh, you can summon characters from across the franchise. And they had a DLC for Sora. Now, the Sora DLC it was not voiced in English. It was a limited time, and when they re-released the game on for the Switch port, like it was like called Maxima Edition or something. Sora wasn't even in it at all. Crazy. So like that was a Final Fantasy specific game, and they couldn't even like they could barely get Sora in there, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And then also with like in terms of representation, so we all know the infamously like, oh well, we can't put my Shiranui from Fatal Fury, we can't have her in the background because it would raise the age rating because she's like a very sexually designed character, exposed character, right?
Yeah.
And that's sort of like the draw of the character, the main like gimmick of the character's design,
right?
And like we say like, oh well, he didn't want to raise the age rating, but like we all know like if they did it with Mithra, they could censor it, they could cover up, but
exactly.
Sakurai didn't want to because that's such an important part of the characters. Mai's design is so iconic, he didn't want to change it. You know what I mean? So I feel like in that regard, like he wants to accurately represent them, and I think because Disney is so important, and Disney, Kingdom Hearts without Disney isn't really Kingdom Hearts in some respects.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to do that. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. No, I understand. No, Sakurai definitely he wants to he would want to do it right, and I understand where he's coming from there.
But then also like on the side, you have like 2B and other Square reps who I feel like it'd just be not only repetitive, but I think like it'd be like again like this everything we said prior just makes everyone else from Square sort of just a really low checks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I get that. It's definitely an issue. Yeah, with Square reps, it's hard because there's certain companies where you just want a bunch of characters from them. Like Capcom has a bunch of characters you'd want, Square has a bunch of characters you'd want, and they all have like kind of that thing where you just want a bunch of characters. Yeah, what's another pick I would have in there, which is a weird one, which I feel like a character that we haven't seen and I really like is like I want like a pixel art character. And this doesn't have to be one specific character, but like I just want a character that is, whether it's like 3D voxel style or whatever, I feel like pixel art representation style character would be really dope. Whether it is like, I saw there's like this fake leak going around a while ago, which is this really cool made video where it's like a Mario and it was like the old sprite Mario.
Yeah, like traditional 8-bit Mario. Yeah, I saw that too. And that was super well done and very, really cool. And I do agree. Like, I think they made Minecraft Steve work. I feel like a pixel character could work.
Absolutely.
But at this point, you got to think like, who is a legacy character that was pixel, but like isn't in Smash, right? Because like you'd think like, maybe like Pac-Man would be your pixel character because you can do the Namco arcade stuff, but we already have Pac-Man. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, that's like that's the thing. It's like it would have to be a character like. I feel like it would have to be a second version of a character. Like I feel like it would have to be something like I would love if it was like this is pixel Mario, like sprite Mario, right? And like I don't know, he evolves from like Mario World Mario from Mario 3 Mario and the other styles, or like Excite Bike. Obviously, his assist trophy is gone. That could be like a cool voxel looking style character. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's ways to do like a cool pixel art character with an old school character and bring him back in somewhere. I just feel like that's just like Pixar is such an iconic style of like Nintendo and just gaming in general that I feel like having that look and having that style in Smash, again, not impossible, but it feels obviously with 3 characters left, it doesn't look like it's likely, and I don't know if they do it for future stuff.
Yeah,
but it's
weird. Like I feel like now again, like there are no rules other than what Sakurai like does. We don't know, but in that regard, I really don't think we're gonna get like a new iteration of an older character because I feel like that wouldn't sell as DLC, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
no, I know what you mean.
I mean, of course, Fighters has like all the versions of Goku that are DLC. They're still very popular, but I think if you're looking at Smash, like I think if people would see something like 8-bit Link, like super old school 8-bit Link, people would be like, okay, like I don't know, would that be hype? Like I mean, like I said, I would be excited for that, but I feel like in general, that would not like drive the same sort of sales that like a bigger first party, even like a character would do. And I mean, it's like we do have Mr. Game & Watch, who is like a flat character.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, I don't think it's impossible. I just feel like, would it be something they would be looking to do? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Right.
No, exactly. I know. I get you on that front. Exactly. It's a matter of would they want to do it versus can they actually do it versus whatever. Yeah, exactly. It'd be either way. Like I just that idea as a concept, something again I don't think is gonna happen, but would be really, really dope. Do you have another one in mind?
I was gonna say now this is a stretch,
Mm,
because this is something that I've thought about and I thought would be really cool.
okay.
Like, if you think, I mean, I guess Minecraft does sort of represent the PC gaming space, but
Right.
Minecraft is sort of like very much its own thing.
Mm,
I feel like a character from sort of an MMO or a character
mm,
from some sort of like, like or like an online sort of multiplayer game that's like for PC. Like I feel like MMO specifically, like a World of Warcraft character. Now I know like old Blizzard is not the same as new Blizzard, and
right. Yeah.
I totally understand that. I'm not happy about it either. But I think if you think about legacy characters, if you think
Yeah.
about like legacy of gaming, like Warcraft was huge. It still is huge, and the
Yeah.
impact it had on like MMOs as a culture, MMOs as just a genre, like going forward, has
Mm,
been like insane. And I feel like Warcraft is very indicative of like PC gaming spaces, PC gaming culture, and MMOs as well. And we don't really have anything from an MMO in Smash.
you're
But I
right.
feel like what's driving it from happening is this. I feel like I don't know. Nintendo has promoted Overwatch on Switch. They've been very vocal with that. But I feel like I don't know. It doesn't feel like something that would be a priority for Sakurai. I feel
Yeah.
like Sakurai would be
Yeah.
interested himself in putting that character. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, exactly. I think it's because obviously, like, if you look at like every character in Smash, right? Like in some shape or form, I'm looking at the roster. Like in some shape or form, some one of these characters has some sort of history with Nintendo. Whereas with PC gaming, especially with MMO stuff and all that, it's like I think it has zero ties to Nintendo. It doesn't hit culturally the same way. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's like I said, it's like I don't think it's something that Sakurai necessarily wants to represent. I don't think it's something Nintendo necessarily feels like they
Nintendo, yeah,
need to
that's another
represent.
thing I was gonna say. I
Yeah,
don't think it's
exactly.
something on Nintendo's radar to put
Yeah.
in like World of Warcraft or slash MMO. Like I'm saying Warcraft because I think that would be the one I would be like
Mm,
genuinely interested in. I think it's the one that makes sense, but there could be other MMOs out there, But
right.
yeah, in regards to that space, yeah, I think it's something that Nintendo wouldn't be interested in doing because like Minecraft obviously started on PC and expanded and sort of Minecraft is like Minecraft, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Exactly.
And it's been on Nintendo consoles at this point.
Mm,
Um, the thing is about Warcraft is that it's very removed. And what does Nintendo benefit from promoting Warcraft at the end
right.
of the day,
Exactly.
right? Like I feel like that intersection of people, like people who play Warcraft, aren't going to pick up Smash Brothers because there's
Exactly.
a Warcraft
Yeah.
character
No,
in it.
they
If that
won't.
makes
Yeah.
any sense, you know what I mean? Because like
Exactly. They're not there
Blizzard
for that.
actually had their own MOBA called Here's the Storm that had a ton of Warcraft characters, and that game died. Like
Yeah.
they just didn't support it. It didn't have the same base. And like, so they couldn't even pull they couldn't even pull
Yeah.
Warcraft fans into their own like
Exactly.
crossover game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, that's definitely it's a space that also I really don't care much about, but I understand that it's like it's a big part of gaming, and I understand it having
Right,
some
exactly,
representation there.
exactly. It's like the same sort of like like it's very much like Warcraft and Minecraft, like the two
Right.
crafts.
Exactly. To
With
the cuts.
PC, there's like one side or the other of
Yeah.
people who've been involved with it. So yeah, like I said, like I would be, even though I think that makes sense to me to have that. I
Mm,
don't think that's something Nintendo would actively be like
right.
looking into or like would have a list of characters. I don't think that would ever be on there.
Right. Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, it's definitely one up there. Another one I was thinking about is and I'm talking about not like something like Cloud where it's third party PlayStation. I'm talking about like a first party PlayStation character because I feel like
Mhm.
place like we see this friendship with Nintendo and Microsoft, but like Nintendo and PlayStation aren't very buddy buddy. Like there's no real like ever crossover events or stuff like it's like here's a PlayStation
And
game on
NetPlay, I mean,
Switch.
they even like blocked NetPlay for a while,
Yeah,
crossplay.
exactly. Yeah,
Crossplay for a
crossplay. Yeah,
while, that was a whole mess.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like I feel like now, granted, most of PlayStation characters I'd say don't necessarily fit Smash, right? But like I'd love something like again like a Ratchet and Clank, right? Like Ratchet and Clank are a perfectly suited design for Smash, right? Obviously, their whole thing is like over the top weapons, like these pixel guns and these disco weapons and all these weird cool things. And obviously, he'd have a perfect moveset. It's like I feel like a PlayStation first party character would be really dope. And again, obviously, PlayStation is like that's it. It's like PlayStation is one of the most iconic brands in gaming, and I feel like they don't have. And again, I don't think Nintendo would be
Yeah,
opposed to it. It's
like
a matter.
again, like yeah, I see what you're saying
Yeah.
in terms of like PlayStation, because like yes, Metal Gear Solid has always been
Exactly.
iconic to PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's the main entries have always been on PlayStation
Exactly,
and
yeah.
like pretty much exclusive to PlayStation. But Snake being in Smash was more of like Sakurai and Kojima being buddies
Exactly.
and less like Sony and
Sony and
Nintendo
Nintendo.
being buddies. You know what
Exactly.
I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the thing with Joker, it's more of like Sakurai and Atlas, and also there have been Persona spin-offs and the like on
Right.
Nintendo software. Same with
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid. Actually, they had like the port. They had Twin Snakes, and they had like the
Yeah.
3DS
Twin Snakes and the
port of
3DS
Snake
one.
Eater.
Yeah.
So that's like that precedent has been set.
Yeah.
Cloud and Sephiroth, obviously, Final Fantasy in general has a history with
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Joker. Yeah.
But yeah,
Like
stuff like
this.
Ratchet and Clank or Jack and Daxter, like it's not really there. And I think honestly, if we're talking PlayStation, like I think at this point, the only character that makes sense is Crash.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because now you know,
with
Insane
Activision.
Trilogy and Crash 4. Well, Insane Trilogy is on Switch. Crash 4 is coming to Switch.
Yeah,
So that
exactly.
sort of like boundary has been broken in terms
Yeah.
of like
Yeah. Well, because Activision
Crash
owns the
being on there.
character
Crash
now.
has been on Nintendo way longer as well with
Yeah.
you know the GBA games, etc. And
Yeah.
Spyro has too, but I you know as much as I love Spyro, that's my favorite.
Exactly.
Sort of those are my favorite games. The original trilogy, like Crash is like as of now is the way more iconic one. I think.
Right, exactly. No, exactly. Like, Crash is the one that, yeah, he belongs to Activision now. So even then, it wouldn't even be a PlayStation character, but that would fill that care of like, that was PlayStation's mascot back in the day. That was their mascot platformer. So I feel like that would definitely fit in Smash nowadays. I feel like that's the closest we'd get. Like Crash being in Smash Ultimate or whatever Smash is coming later would be the fit of like, hey, here's your basically PlayStation rep. Obviously, again, they could get away with it because Nintendo's actually pretty, not crazy buddies with Activision, but they're good friends. I mean, they have a bunch of their games on Switch. We know Tony Hawk is coming to Switch. So it was like Data Man.
Yeah, exactly. Skylanders and stuff.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
That, yeah.
So it's definitely not impossible. If anything, it's like it's definitely there's a chance Crash gets in as one of the last 3 characters here. But yeah, no, I feel like obviously PlayStation. I'm not saying I don't want to see like. To me, a character like Nathan Drake doesn't make sense, or what's it called? But like maybe like Aloy
Cole from Infamous.
Yeah, Cole from Infamous, a little too aggressive.
I,
or like
honestly, I
skeleton
think
guy.
that character's been buried for a long time
Yeah,
now. But
yeah, he's
I
kinda
love
good.
Infamous, so
Yeah. But yeah, Nintendo's weird as shit. I mean, they could pull whatever the fuck out of their hat. Like they could pull an Aloy or a Kratos or whoever. Like they could like I mean, like, Kratos would be another one it's not gonna happen. Like because he falls in the Bayonetta realm.
Actually, that's a really good point that we could segue into the next one with Kratos. I think the likelihood that we get a character from an M-rated game is very low nowadays.
Very, very low.
I think now you can say, oh, but Joker, but that was before sort of these changes went into effect. So for people who don't know, and you've probably seen this and wondered, like, why is that? So Joker gets in, and it's a little bit after Joker, I believe, that the ESRB, I think they changed it to where it's like, if you cannot mention, if your game is like, let's say your game is like rated E, and you're like a crossover game, you cannot mention like a game that's above that age rating without also subsequently raising the age rating of the game.
Right, exactly.
And like, so that's the thing where it's like, if you see like, so in the Mii costume trailer for Ezio, who was from Assassin's Creed, it was like Smash Brothers X Ezio or Smash Bros X Travis.
Yeah, exactly.
Like why?
Yeah.
Because they literally couldn't use those games' names. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like a weird gray area because in Europe and other regions, they don't do that. They show the game logo.
Yeah.
In America, they show that logo. They show like the character.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like with that in general, and also like how we mentioned earlier, the whole thing about Mai Shiranui, I feel like the likelihood that we get an actual character from an M-rated game in Smash is significantly lower now. I don't think it's impossible. I'm sure they can work their way around it, but I think it's much, much lower now than it was when Joker and Bayo were added, obviously.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's really hard, especially I'll say also while I'm talking, try to unplug and replug your camera because it's doing that flashy thing.
Is it doing it again?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so just try to unplug it while I discuss here. I was gonna say for M-rated stuff, it's hard because you enter this, like obviously the big talk of Smash Ultimate has been Doomslayer, right? All these rumors of Doomslayer, people saying Doomslayer is happening and all this shit. And I just, or the guy from Skyrim, like the Dovahkiin. And again, it's not that these characters are impossible. It's just that to me, Doomslayer, right? aside from the fact that of the memes of like that, yeah, he's friends with Isabel and all this stuff, like at his core, he's like he's a pretty aggressive character. Now, again, like Bayonetta's also fucked up and aggressive, right? But like Doom is like you are like you're jumping into enemies.
The gore is the appeal for people at the end of the day. That is a big appeal for the people. Exactly. Like Bayonetta, yeah, it's gory and violent, and you know, Bayo's like, you know, this sexy dominatrix character, but a lot of Bayonetta is her personality and her movement. The gore is just like, it's there for the spectacle of it. It's very much like Devil May Cry. People don't play Devil May Cry for the fast-paced action, the movement, the combos, etc. You know what I mean? So in that regard, like, yeah, like it wouldn't be very true to character. You know, people have said like, oh, but you could do like classic 16-bit, like old school Doom guy and have it more cartoony. And I think that works, but I think that's not in line with like modern Doom.
Yeah, modern Doom is the appeal. And again, it's like I feel like as a costume it would be cool or something, and I just don't think.
Sure. Yeah, like again, and sort of on that regard, people are like, what other fighting game characters could we put in Smash? There is no way that there is going to be a Mortal Kombat character at the end of the day. Like, in my honest opinion, there will not be like a Scorpion or anything like that.
Absolutely not. No, I don't. There's no way, because like I just think, again, Sakurai, like you could, like, it's, again, you could do it. Like, again, Bayonetta definitely broke that barrier, but like you would definitely be like Bayonetta. I feel like because she's a Nintendo exclusive, they were easily able to find ways around things and still make the character appeal and stuff. Whereas Nintendo, when it comes to a third-party character and Sakurai wants to represent it correctly, I don't think you can represent a Mortal Kombat character without like the skull crushing stuff and the fatalities.
Yeah,
and, like,
and like, and it's funny because, you know, they tried to do a T-rated fucking Mortal Kombat game with MK versus DC,
right? And
that was like lambasted because, again, like everything was so toned down for the T rating, and you know, they had these other characters that you didn't want to show getting like you didn't want to like get Batman getting ripped apart or whatever. So they had to tone down the violence, and people loathe that game. So I feel like you cannot have a combat character without that excessive violence. That's what the series is built on.
Yeah,
and it would not work in Smash because that would never happen in terms of like, you know, that sort of level of violence. You know?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Another character, I mean, I feel like another thing is like we look at a lot of main characters for franchise, but like there's a lot of sub characters from other franchises I'd love. Like, for example, like, okay, let's say Sonic. Right, obviously I want to do a whole discussion about like Sonic representation in Smash and what it could do better, but like I feel like obviously if we were gonna get another rep, it would be like an Eggman or a Tails or whatever, or a Shadow. Well, Shadow's been dicked, but it's like it would be so cool to get, like, imagine a shocking terror like it was Blaze, right, or Silver, you know, like something like that, like, right?
I feel like actually Sephiroth's reveal sort of set this precedent where it's like, oh well, you know, at first we thought they're not gonna double back on like previous franchises that much, because like we thought like, oh well, Cloud's gonna be it, but then they were like, oh well, here's Sephiroth and he's the big bad. So I feel like that does give credence to Eggman more, and that we have Sephiroth now. But I feel like it would be probably him or Tails, and I just can't see any other Sonic character at all. I feel like every other Sonic character, even though it would be cool to have Knuckles, we've seen Knuckles work, etc. I feel like no other Sonic character makes sense besides Tails or Eggman.
Yeah. So it's like I feel like a character like Blaze or Silver, because Silver would be cool because you have the whole telekinesis shit, which again you have kind of with Mewtwo, but like not really. Like you could do some, like he could do things where like he summons some like objects from the ground and he throws them at you, right? Like obviously his grabs are like teleporting style. He could have a lot of cool shit, but Blaze would be super cool too. Obviously she's got like her fire moves, she'd look really dope, and it's like I feel like you could do, there's definitely some interesting stuff you could do with characters in Smash with Sonic characters that aren't just like the main three. Another idea I always had, which would be really cool, which is like, again, like I always dreamed of this, it's not gonna happen, but it was like a Pokemon style, but with classic Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, where it was just like, dude, you so rotate dope between them, and it would be so cool. And like you have stuff like, you know, like the drop dash, you have like like Knuckles, you switch to him and he has like his little glide attacks, and same thing with Tails. Like that would be something like that would be so cool.
You know, in that regard, I don't think we're gonna get anything Pokemon Trainer as well, like you swap between characters. I feel like the development time in regards to doing a character like that and having it be sort of multiple characters, I feel like that is just too much for the DLC development cycle, and I feel like they wouldn't implement that sort of character, if that makes sense. Because we saw how long Steve took to implement. Steve is just Steve, you know? I mean, Steve has a lot going on, but Steve doesn't transform into different forms, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Steve is definitely like, he doesn't transfer. Like, the closest, like, I mean, they even like removed like, I mean, obviously they separated transforming characters with like Sheik and Zelda and Zero Suit and regular Samus. But yeah, no, yeah, it's definitely like, I remember when we were early on speculating for ARMS of like, oh, maybe they have swappable characters, and we like, and you notice like it lessen as time and time goes on, like they don't do as many like obviously clones or echoes or whatever, but it's like, yeah, I feel like that's definitely the hardest thing. But yeah, like I just, for me, like it's just, I would love a Sonic rep, like and I don't think it's gonna happen, like a more funny obscure one, you know, not necessarily your Eggmans, but like something weird and wild there. What's another one you got? Do you have another one in mind?
I was trying to think like I mean, besides transforming because this actually just recently happened, they added some spirits for Age of Calamity. And I mean, obviously now it's not set in stone again, but I feel like that just sort of lowered the chances for a Zelda rep, because it's like some of those spirits I felt like would have been on a DLC spirit, maybe, like,
that's not,
you know what I mean?
Even if it's not happening.
Like for example, like Impa, like they don't have to add AOC Impa. Obviously there's different iterations of the character, but I feel like if you were going to go to a DLC spirit board, I feel like there would be some of those spirits on there, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, exactly. And no, that's definitely, yeah, it's definitely another one. And I mean, like, yeah, with that, it's, I mean, obviously we've gotten into this like of like, yeah, just Zelda representation shit. But yeah, I feel like, I mean, another franchise that got like quote unquote is not getting in is like Resident Evil, right? Obviously we had the Resident Evil spirits with Leon and all these guys, and it's like, again, I also understand because Resident Evil is like very, obviously it's very zombie driven,
it's very M-rated again.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Not to say that they like, Jill has been in you know, Marvel vs. Capcom, and that's a T-rated game, and it's not like the violence was super impactful there, but like I feel like it definitely is a strike against it, sort of, it makes it harder to do for sure.
Well, not just that, of like the fact that when you look at Snake's moveset, right, he's a very ridiculous version of a military swordsman. It's a military, like a fucking guy, not swords, what the fuck? Soldier, soldier. Whereas like in Resident Evil, they're pretty, like obviously it's zombies, but they're pretty realistic with this. Like they are just carrying guns, you know, they are carrying.
Yeah, they're like, very, that's actually a really good difference. They are very gun focused. The gunplay is very key. Snake gets away with it because he has explosives. And comic explosives, it's not the same thing as gun.
Exactly. He's got like a rocket following you. He's got like a
and like Joker got away with it because I think they are airsoft guns.
Yeah, exactly.
They are, say that, so you know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly. So like that's obviously like Resident Evil, again, one of the most iconic franchises that I just don't think will necessarily get representation smash like that. And I think also we've talked about this of like, I mean, I feel like I'm looking at the roster here. What's another, I mean, again, another thing that's never say never, but like I feel like what's it called? Another Kirby rep, right? Like Kirby rep that isn't Bandana D, right? Like I just want a really weird. Now, granted, like I would love it. For example, it was like the Animal Buddies, right, from Dreamland 3. Like that would be another cool thing, right?
So good. Like again, that'd be like a Pokemon trainer thing. That's actually how they work Star Allies, and Star Allies you swap between the three, which is super cool.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like again, Kirby's in a really weird spot because they have so many recurring characters across like the villain. The villain almost always changes. The characters that are mainstays are almost in every game. Yeah. So you're pretty much covering all your bases with Kirby Meta Knight DDD, and I think that's partially why there hasn't been a new Kirby character. The other side is I think Sakurai isn't interested in working with Kirby games that he's had no involvement in personally. Yeah, I feel like Bandana D, you know, that is a character I do want. That is a character that I think would make sense because sort of the modern Kirby area of like Return to Dreamland onward. He's in the 3DS games. He's sort of prominent in all the spin-offs. But I don't think Sakurai or Nintendo would be interested in putting him in. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the whole thing with that. It's just a matter of it's like if they were on that, like again, we're getting a big Kirby game this year that we know about from How and stuff, but it's like it's a matter of like are they gonna want to do something with promotion with that? And again, it's like, would they do what's his name, Bandana D, or would they do something weird? You know, like, and I think, yeah, we're not. I don't think. I realistically don't think we're getting another one. I feel like there's just some franchise where it's like, here, this is set in stone. This is what you get for this, and that's it. That's all. And I was gonna, what was another one I was thinking of? Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, you love what's it called? You love Darkstalkers, right? I mean, like, your profile bit.
Yeah,
it's like,
of course.
you know,
yeah.
it's like, I'm sure you'd like a character from Darkstalkers, right?
Yeah, or I feel like, you know, another Capcom character in general. Like, I just adore Capcom to death.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Monster Hunter Rise coming out, like, I could see Monster Hunter maybe,
Yeah,
like,
maybe,
for an iteration of Monster Hunter. But I feel like, other than like maybe Dante, I feel like no other Capcom character really has a good shot.
Yeah.
There's some leak rumor that it was gonna be ChunLi, but I mean, ChunLi is like the iconic woman fighter, but
Yeah.
I don't think adding ChunLi right now makes any
Yeah,
particular
exactly. Exactly.
I mean, we could say that for Sephiroth, but you know, you did have a remake that came out earlier in the year.
Exactly.
Technically. So
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Sephiroth was still in people's heads. Like, I think ChunLi would be dope. I personally, I wanted ChunLi as an assist trophy.
As an
like,
assist, yeah, that would have been.
because when I saw Guile, I was like, man, I really wish that was ChunLi, because I feel like,
and she just
Chun is
spams her
more iconic than
kicks.
Guile, but
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, with that, of like, I mean, you and I are Mega Man nerds. Like, I would love another Mega Man rep, right? Like, I would love if they did Proto or Base or like one of the or Zero. Like, obviously Zero got like screwed, like not screwed over. Like, he's an assist, but it's like, I feel like another Mega Man rep would be so cool. Like, I would love that. Like, that's like the dream.
Yeah, Capcom's sort of like unique in that a lot of their franchises have so many different iterations that you can pull from and sort of amalgamate and go back on, and they're sort of really special in that regard. But I feel like, again, Capcom, I feel like, yeah, they are very good to smash with like their legacy characters and their content.
Yeah, really.
But I also feel like they also are just making decisions that make sense. And they've been kind of quiet on Mega Man kind of recently. I don't feel like it would make sense for them to bring back another version of Mega Man other than like the classic Mega Man, especially because all the Mega Men are already in his final smash to begin with. So I feel like that was sort of their nod to the series.
That was their love. Yeah, exactly. And even Dr. Wily is an assist trophy. Like, so like they definitely gave what they. I mean, he has like a whole area. I get not really.
I think that's his Mega Man 7 version of his capsule fight.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
is assist trophy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if we're going back on characters that sort of are already represented, I really don't think we're getting anyone else from Microsoft. I really don't think Master Chief has a chance, or anyone else from Microsoft.
Really? You don't think Master Chief has a chance? Okay.
Well, at least for this pass, it doesn't make sense.
Interesting.
I feel like they had to work so hard off their asses to get Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
We didn't know what it took to get Banjo. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it just wouldn't be possible for this fighter's pass.
Right.
Even though I think in the grand scheme of things, like if you were to adapt a first-person shooter character that was from a game that did have an M rating, I think you could pull it off Master Chief because he has a lot of energy weapons. He's got like laser.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's very laser. Yeah. No, it's no, I'm with you on that. And I think like I would say Microsoft. I'd say Master Chief isn't impossible, but I don't think he's likely. Again, not impossible, but I don't think he's likely either in there. Yeah, and I'm trying to think, what's like another final one I could think of that's something like I'd really personally want that's not gonna get. I'm trying to think. Again, I'd love something weird. Again, like something like what's it called? What's a fucking
Piranha Plant situation? Like genuine another Piranha Plant. I don't mean like random obscure enemy in that sense. I mean like something that people like would think, how is that going to work? And it just does, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I want, but it's like it's so hard to think of like who you could pull from in that regard.
Yeah, more than Steve, right? Like Steve is the how the fuck did you pull this off, and you did, right? Like that is that character. I'm trying to look. I mean, obviously, like there's some indie reps, right? Like I would again, Celeste would be really dope from Celeste.
I think indie is a good note to sort of take that. I think the indie ship has sailed a long time ago. I think the indie ship, if it was gonna be there, you would have.
It would have been Shovel Knight.
The Crash Chance would have been on the first Fighter's Pass.
Yeah, I really think it would have been Shovel Knight.
The first Fighter's Pass was sort of like, this is stuff that we wanted in sort of the base game, but we couldn't do for one reason or another.
Right.
Because like these are like sort of the big ones that we wanted, and I feel like you already have Shovel Knight, you have Shantae's Spirit. They definitely would have been thinking of who do we want, like how do we represent indies? What do we do for indies in Smash at that point? Back when they were like, oh, we got Shovel Knight for the assist, we got the Shantae Spirit. I feel like because it hasn't happened on the first Fighters Pass, the chances are just dropping exponentially because like they would have already considered that like way back then at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, no, like it's like, I mean, you think most recently, like Hades, right? Like Zagreus would be such a cool Smash rep, right? Like he could switch between the sword, the bow, the shield he's got. You know, he could like fuse different like god powers. Like it'd be like, that would be like so cool. Again, these are things I don't think are going to happen, but it would just be, it would be really dope to just have them in there.
You know, again, Nintendo's super supportive of indies. I think the fact that we have indie games in Smash, like,
it's crazy.
Again, like the fact that Shovel Knight is as fleshed out as an assist trophy as he is crazy, and I think that should be appreciated. But I feel like that's the limit. I really don't see indies going above that because you know, at the end of the day, Smash is sort of a celebration of gaming history and icons. And indies are extremely important. Don't get me wrong, they're extremely important. They are getting more and more iconic as time goes on, as you know, especially in recent years. But I feel like if you're going to add a character that sort of is a big icon or big face of gaming or something that's had an impact on gaming in terms of like the super old score going way back, I feel like indies are not quite there on Sakurai's radar yet in terms of importance, even though they are very important. I think Nintendo and Sakurai and their radar, it's not up there yet. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, that's that makes the most sense. And it's like,
do I think it's possible someone like Shovel Knight gets upgraded in a next Smash game? I certainly think so. I think if anything, Shovel Knight has a very good chance in a next Smash game to be upgraded to a full character. But I don't think it would ever. And I don't think any other indie character would have happened.
Exactly. No, I agree with you there. And like I mean, the last one I'll say against like that I feel like right now we're really hoping for, and I don't think it's gonna happen, is Rex, Mithra / Pyra, right? It's like that's we got 3 characters left. Again, they've got I do think they have a shot. Again, like Xenoblade 2 sold 2 million copies. You know, Sakurai, you know, he said ARMS and Xenoblade 2 couldn't be repped in because they didn't have time. Then they added Min. So it's not impossible, but it's not necessarily likely. So I feel like that's like kind of the last one where I'm like, I really hope they do it because again, it's a character that has a lot of potential. Like obviously the way Xenoblade 2 works is like you have your driver and your blades in the back, right? And obviously it would be an easy thing of like you're swapping between Mithra and Pyra in the background to give like Rex different attacks and moves. So it would kind of be like how, you know, the Pokemon trainer standing in the back, or maybe they pull what they did with Torna where you can actually play as the blades, which to me would be way cooler. And I just think like I think that's a character that like that's kind of like my last hope of a character I really want, but I don't necessarily think is gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, like the game's anniversary was not too long ago, and again, like I do think it would be a really cool instance to sort of like go back and sort of relook at the Xenoblade content because like you know, you also have the chance because you know Bandai Namco owns Cosmos and everything with Xenosaga,
right?
And it would be kind of cool, like even if it's not Rex, you know, if it's Rex, you could still have that content from Xenosaga in some fashion, maybe just some music or something. You could add Shulk's future connected look because he has the updated jacket and everything. That'd be a cool like, costume, a little nod to the definitive edition. I do think like it's weird because I feel like it's something that makes the most sense and something that we want to happen, and that's precisely why it wouldn't happen, if that makes sense. Like I don't know, you have to sort of like think inside the box and outside the box at the same time because if you cannot, there's no way you can predict Sakurai. He doesn't even follow like there are no rules. He just sort of does what he wants in terms of what he wants to do and what he thinks makes sense, you know.
That's kind of everything I've got in that regard, unless you have like something else that I'm kind of
I think like I said, like just you know, even though everything we've said is sort of we sort of have a logical reasoning for why we think the way we do. Like there's no like predicting Sakurai. Like again, like this is all our just personal thoughts and speculation, but it is not the absolute. Sakurai is a madman.
Also if there is an off chance that this is really Sakurai's last game, then a lot of more characters I feel like become less and less likely, because I don't think there's a direct. Now obviously Smash will always go above and beyond, but it's like I feel like no director could even like muster that amount of insane like dedication to trying to get a character in there that like would necessarily not fit, you know. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of everything we got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know if you like the new video style. I noticed as soon as you deactivate and reactivate camera, the green flashing thing is done, so that's really good.
Yeah, we'll definitely get that fixed for next time for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, let us know if you guys like this. Let us know your characters that you don't think would get in and that you'd like to see, and thank you for continuing to support the show, and hopefully you enjoy this new format, and hopefully, you know, we keep doing some more shows, and it's gonna be a good ass year. So thank you all for watching. You can catch me on Twitter at on the download though, and you can catch Ultima at Ultima Shadow X. Next time I'll upgrade the graphic as we go on and put like names in the background stuff. It'll be good. So guys, thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time. Peace out. We love you.
Peace out.